constant debate in the psychology and biology world is whether the impacts of nature or nurture are stronger in shaping the people we become. Both nature and nurture clearly have huge impacts on the lives of humans and how their bodies work, but it is often forgotten, though, that nurture, or the environment in which someone lives in, continues to impact a human's life for the entirety of the time they are alive. One of the most effective places in the human body to environmental factors is the brain. Most people assume that the environmental factors around them have no effects on the physical makeup of their brain. However, research has shown that many everyday factors, including diet, sleep, exercise, and everyday activities, all have effects on the brain that can physically change the structure of the brain. In this paper, I'll prove just how certain environmental factors can change the physical makeup of the brain, the way it is able to function, and the neuroplasticity of the brain. Neuroplasticity is the ability for the brain to change over time when the brain is exposed to different things, environments, and conditions. This means that everyday things around someone can truly change how their brain works mechanically because it can alter the brain itself. Sleep is universally known to be crucial for the well-being of humans, just as food and water are, but often people do not truly know why. In a study conducted by Maurizio Gorgioni, the true impacts of sleep on the brain are revealed. The study proved that after sleep, the brain was able to undergo synaptic downscaling, which is when synaptic levels in the brain are brought back down to a level that is capable of providing adequate energy level for the brain and body so that it is able to function properly. This study also proved that sleep was necessary to reactivate regions of the brain that were recently involved in learning, so that the ideas that were learned could be stored. Using a basic memory card game, there was shown to be a positive correlation between sleeping after learning the material and remembering the material at a later time. This was related to rapid eye movement sleep, or REM sleep, slow deep wave sleep, or SWS. The REM sleep was responsible for allowing procedural learning to be stored in the brain, and the SWS sleep was responsible for processing declarative memory. The benefits of sleep on the brain are endless, but with that being said, the consequences of sleep deprivation on the brain have drastic impacts. It was found that sleep deprivation can lead to altered LTP levels and LTD processes on the brain, which ultimately can lead to the deterioration of neuronal processes. Neurons are responsible for sending messages to the body and the rest of the brain, so when these levels are altered and the neurons are destroyed, the brain cannot send adequate signals to the rest of the body, and therefore is not able to function as it should be able to. The next external factor on the brain that was found to alter its makeup was one's diet. A study conducted by King's College in London found that caloric restriction, intermittent fasting, and dietary supplementation all had beneficial impacts on brain structure. Caloric restriction, when done in a healthy manner, was found to improve the brain's ability to protect synapses from metabolic and oxidative destruction. And healthy caloric intake also controlled the number, structure, and function of the synapses in the brain, which allowed for more efficient and effective learning. Synapses are what control how messages are able to be passed between neurons, which is crucial to the functioning of the body. The part of the study that focused on intermittent fasting, meaning 5 days of eating and 2 days of minimal eating, was demonstrated through rats and also showed physical benefits to the brain. The diet showed an improvement in the fight against the destruction of hippocampal neurons. The hippocampus is the part of the brain that is responsible for memory, so the hippocampal neurons are a necessity for learning and long-term memory, and the prevention of the destruction of these neurons are essential to the functioning of one's brain long-term. All right, we have to pause for a second. This is the wrong one. This is my doc, not PDF that I turned in. It's fine. I just have to I have errors in that one that I'm reading out loud.
You want me to switch it?
No, I'll just keep going. Okay, where did I stop? All right.
In the dietary supplement.
In the dietary supplementation portion of the study, subjects were given elevated levels of polyphenols, which are antioxidants found in fruits and vegetables. The subjects who ate the elevated levels of polyphenols were found to have positively altered cellular pathways, which ultimately led to more efficient neuronal processes and increased neuroplasticity. The long-term effects of this meant improved cognitive ability and hippocampal functioning for the subjects. It is commonly known that exercise is extremely beneficial for the health of the cardiovascular system, but is often disregarded what benefits an active lifestyle can bring for the brain. In a study conducted by Wayne State University School of Medicine, exercise was shown to directly affect the central nervous system's neuroplasticity and the sympathetic nervous system's activity levels. Cardiovascular diseases are often associated with overactivity of the sympathetic nervous system, and exercise was found to physically change the primary central pathways of the sympathetic nervous system in a way that limited the activity, ultimately leading to a reduction in cardiovascular disease. Exercise impact on the central nervous system were also drastic. The central nervous system is the part of the brain that is responsible for memory and learning The central nervous system is the part of the brain that is responsible for memory and learning, and exercise was found to alter the number, structure, and function of the neurons in the central nervous system that led to huge benefits for this subject. The brain is so easily impacted by external factors, even overlooked everyday activities such as music and video game play have impacts on the physical makings of one's brain. In a study conducted by Boise State University, music production was found to incorporate all four cortical regions of the brain, and therefore, one who was involved in music production was found to have more developed communication structures between the regions of the brain. The interhemispheric nerve bundle in those who were involved in music production were found to be much more developed in comparison to those who were not involved in music production, ultimately leading to more efficient communication throughout the whole brain. There was also found to be higher levels of gray and white matter in the brain of those who produce music, which has immense benefits such as improved motor control, spatial orientation, visual processing, and decision-making. Another overlooked everyday activity, video game play, was found to have impacts on the physical makeup of the brain. Those who played video games were found to have increased gray matter in both the left and right hemispheres, which directly correlated to the improved level of hand-eye coordination, cognitive functioning, and sensory functioning. When going on with one's everyday life and decision-making, it is often disregarded just how one's own life choices and lifestyle can affect the brain directly. The way one eats, how much one sleeps, and whether they exercise or not are all known factors of one's bodily health. However, it is not often regarded as to what impacts these things have on the brain. Even everyday activities that do not affect one's physical health, such as video game play and music exposure, can alter one's brain. These are just a few examples of what the impact of the brain and the true list is. Hold on. I have to do that again.
I'll hold it for you.
We can. We just switch up, and then you hold it for me and you hold it for her.
Okay. These are just a few examples of what can impact the brain, and the true list is endless. With the brain being such a crucial part of body functioning, the impacts of the environmental factors.
Just start there again.
With the brain being such a crucial part of the body functioning, the impacts of environmental factors on the brain are important to understand so that one can both be mentally and physically healthy at all times.